Hi, I'm Alana.
And I'm Andrea.
Welcome back to The Balanced Mom. Today we're going to be talking about reward systems and behavior charts.
The most popular one that we've used recently, because as we all know, I feel like everything gets old quickly, and so we need to change things up all the time. What we use currently is a token system, and it's a token system that works for behavior, for charts, I think the way that I summarize this is being a blessing to others. So if you're wiping something up, if you're blessing somebody by serving them in one way or another, we do tokens. And the way it works is all three of the kids, 3 out of the 4, earn tokens. They all go in this jar, and then when the jar is full, they can pick a reward. And typically our rewards are, like our most recent one was ice skating. And then before that was a trip to go to the mall, and we did like the jumping thing at the mall. But it's usually like a bigger outing, a family outing. Sometimes they've picked small things like doing a picnic in a park, which helps financially. The jar has to be full, and the way we test it, because they're always like, is it full yet? Is it full yet? We put our hand on top, flip it over, and if there's barely any movement, then the jar is full. Because it used to get just to here, to the almost the top, and they think it's full.
Now, do you feel like this works for your younger kids too?
Yes, our 4-year-old loves it. She will say, she'll take a wipe and she'll say, can I go wipe the bathroom floor for 2 tokens? So there's a little bit of negotiating. It's super sweet.
And how long would you say it takes for the jar to fill up before they get a prize?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to be completely honest. We sometimes give tokens, extra tokens, for extra things a lot if we have a bigger event that we've planned without letting them know. So like when we went ice skating, he took off. My husband took off that day. And so as we were approaching it, I was kind of like, oh, you did such a good job. You become more attentive, right, to what they do, to every little thing. But it could take a week. It can take 3 weeks. It really does range. It's never taken more than a month. So it's like a bigger event probably per month.
So one system we use in our house, my kids are a bit younger. Her kids they range from 9 months to 9 years.
Yeah.
And my kids are 2, 3, and 9 months old. So obviously this is for the 2 and the 3-year-old. We do one of these charts here.
I love this system. I remember when I first saw it at your house, and I absolutely love the fact that it's a visual one.
And something really fun about this is you can kind of see that it's homemade. My kids and I made it together, so we just got these like word stickers, and this is just construction paper cut up. They helped me make these faces, and so they're a lot more invested in it because they helped me to create it. So here we have my daughter's face, and here we have my son's face, and they're actually just on clothespins. And so this helps them to move up and down on the chart. And so this is where they start every day. It just says start. Every morning they start on the green. And then if they are good throughout the day, they move up. Top tier here says reward. And if they're misbehaving, they move down. And then if you go down 1 to yellow, they get a warning. Orange is take a break, which is essentially time out. And then red is a consequence. So either they lose a toy or they may not get like their shows that day. So some sort of consequence for the day.
I love this system.
Yeah, it's fun. The kids really like it too, and they especially love it because they have like their own little like their faces on here, so it's really cute. Yeah, and it works because they're really young, so having like a visual system is really, really helpful for them. And so if they make it all the way to the top to reward, we have another chart for that. I love charts and lists. That's like my thing. They're all over my house, you can tell you. I literally have them posted everywhere, so I have a bunch of
Which
these.
is funny because the difference, I feel like we both do love charts. Your charts are nice and pretty, and mine I've gotten to the place. My kids are older, so they don't need the visual as much. My 4-year-old would probably benefit more, so she always likes the ones with pictures.
Yeah.
But my older ones are fine with, here's a to-do list, here's what it looks like, here's a check mark. Like, it's just so much simpler.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I'm sort of like a child too. Like, I need like pretty, colorful things. So even my list, like if they're just like a plain list, I'll doodle on them and make them pretty myself.
That makes sense.
I like pretty things. So this is their other reward chart. And so you can see there's different circles here. For my family personally, my kids really, really enjoy stickers. That is like a reward in itself for them. And so they get to pick out, it could be like, I'll have Elsa stickers because my daughter's obsessed with Frozen right now. I have some Spider-Man stickers for my son, just something that they like. And every time they reach the top of the reward chart here, they get a sticker. And there's other charts too, which I'll also mention later in the video.
So question, they reach the rewards and they get a sticker each time, right?
Every
so
time
it takes this many days. It takes this many days to fill in this whole thing.
I have other charts and other systems, which I'll also talk about, where they get more stickers. These actually fill up probably like every 3 days to get some sort of reward. which can also be, like you mentioned, either like an outing, trip to the park or something like that. A special new one that we haven't been to before. Sometimes I'll do like a treat from the treat jar. If you're someone that likes to be healthy, I try to be healthy with my kids. I give them like chocolate raisins and I just give them like 3 or 4 and they think it's like the best thing in the world because they don't really get candy often. I have little tattoos in a little basket and they love getting those tattoos. So it could really be anything. A trip to the dollar store and they each pick out something for $1. So it fills up pretty often, but it doesn't have to be super expensive. You can be really creative about the rewards you give.
We actually have a Soka store. We put it on hold now. I feel like we always have to change the system just so that they're motivated. And so we have a Soka store. It's just a big box and I put things in there. So it could be like a glitter pen or, invisible ink pens. We gave them out for Valentine's Day one year and we still have some left. They still love those. Obviously, when you don't have them for a few months and then you get one, it's like, oh, this is a new thing. And so we have a Soka store and they get to shop at the Soka store when we use our sticker charts.
Smart, and that's really cute, Soka store.
Yeah, the SS. I'm big on that. The teacher
I like
in
that.
me.
That's cute.
Questions. So they fill this and they get to reward once a day, or they get to reward as many times in the day as they like.
So usually it's by the end of the day. If they haven't gone down, they'll just automatically go to reward at the end. But if they do something like really good, they clean their playroom without me telling them to, and they do it completely on their own without asking for help. Or if they like offer to help me unload the dishwasher or something like that, that's not provoked, and I'll move them up. And so sometimes they will get to reward, and sometimes they'll get multiple stickers in a day.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But they have to do something like special. Otherwise, it's just at the end of the day. If they like haven't moved down, then they go to reward. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So another thing we do. This is our life skills chart. So we have different things that we work on during the week. Sometimes it's like the theme of the week is becoming independent. So one of our little tabs on our chart will be putting away your clothes at night in a hamper after you take them off. And since they're toddlers, there's not too much they can do right now, but that's something they can work on. And so that's really helpful because after they go to bed, I don't have to go back and search around the house for all the clothes they took off before they put on their PJs. So that's just an example. Other things I have on this specific chart right now are sharing. If I don't hear them fighting in the playroom because they're fighting over a toy. Get ready for bed with a smile. My kids sometimes will cry when it's time for bed because they would like to play more or watch TV. And so if they go to bed with a smile, that's another skill I have on here. Finishing my plate, so not crying or asking, will you feed me, Mom? So just like little things, you can really, I call it life skills. Anything you want to work on with your kids, this is a really good chart.
I love that. I love this idea. And again, I sometimes forget that yes, I have a 4-year-old and we do have a visual for her chores, but I think because we have the older kids, being an example to her, we don't struggle as much with the sharing, of course, because I have older kids. Or how you said going to bed happy, again, she sees the older siblings, so we always remind them that they're examples.
And that's really nice to have too. Since my kids are 2 and 3, they're like pretty much the same age, so they feed off of each other, all the time. And another really cool thing about a system like this is just something that I laminated. I think I actually got this off of Etsy. If I can find the link, I'll link it down below. But I just have silly putty on the back of these. And I have a bunch of these pre-printed, and so whenever I want to change them out for the week, I can easily do that. So I don't have to print a whole new chart every single time. I just switch out these little tabs here.
I have a question for you. Do you ever feel like these fall off? We actually use a lot of this putty on our posters in our schoolroom, and by, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months into the school year, they always fall off the wall. So I saw this and I thought, oh, I would put Velcro on it because we have little Velcro tabs. But do you feel like they work, or do you feel like they fall off?
Yeah, so for these have been on here probably for a couple months now, and they haven't fallen off.
That's awesome.
This is all laminated again.
So maybe it works
the plastic
on laminate.
On plastic, yes. On the back, I actually don't have it. I used to have like a Velcro tab on here because it doesn't stick well to the wall.
Okay, so that makes sense, yeah. That's why I'm having the problem.
Yeah, laminated to laminated, it works. Otherwise, you might want to put tape on it or do Velcro. Yeah, there's other options out there.
I love that, and you will have to share that with me because I feel like our 4-year-old would thrive. And she has a checklist with pictures, but the moving it on and taking them off would be really cool.
Yeah. The fact that they also get to change them out themselves. So we have like an envelope at home, again, with all the pre-printed ones. And sometimes I'll let them go through the envelope. Which skills do you guys want to work on this week? And then they get to take them off themselves and put them back on.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they love it. And then they take ownership of it because they chose the skills that they're working on that week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, giving your child like a choice and like making them think that they're making the decision, I feel like they're a lot more invested in it that way.
So you reminded me, one of the systems we used to use with our older ones, now we use with a 4-year-old, is literally a picture of a hand printed out, and on each finger, they bend down and they open up. On each finger is something that they need to do for their night routine and their morning routine.
I think I've seen this actually.
Yes, and so the fingers go down and then the fingers come up, and so it helps just to remind her what she needs to do at night. But it just helps with the routine. So they do get tokens at night and in the morning for getting ready without being asked, but it all goes back to the token system,
right,
or the sticker system, whichever method. Even their chores for the day, their morning routine, night routine, all that goes back to the rewards. We have another system we currently use just for this month, and we have used it before, and we bring it back in again here and there depending on if they get bored of our system. So we do tokens, and the reason we're doing tokens this month is because they have something called Penny Wars. They're basically raising money at their co-op for an organization. And so this month I just took all the coins that I basically have in the house, and they can earn any of these tokens. And so they'll do whatever they do. I will give them a quarter, a dime, a nickel, whatever it is. I basically need to get rid of this jar, and this will go to their organization. But I basically have little jars for them, and they each have their first letter of their first name on it. And like I said, whatever they do, they will get a token this month in hopes that they can fill it up, and then my older girls will donate to the co-op, and the younger one can donate it in her bank account.
Do you give your kids any sort of an allowance for doing their chores?
Good question. No. So again, as soon as they get bored of a system, I go online and I check another system. So like I said, we went from chore chart, every single chart you can imagine, and then to token system. And we used to even do token systems for each child. And it wasn't a full jar like this. It was more like a little jar like this, and each kid could earn tokens.
Oh, so right now it's a combined system for all three.
Yes. So right now all three of them work together to do like a family outing. Okay. And the reason we did that, we switched from single ones to like them working together, is because they were arguing so much. So we thought if they become more dependent on one another, like, oh, I'm a blessing to you, then they're working together to fill up this jar, instead of like, that's not my item. Well, it doesn't matter if it's not yours. You still need to help.
Something else to mention for us, my daughter and my son each have their own chart, and so sometimes they will finish their chart at different times. They do tend to fight over it, so having a family jar is actually not a bad idea, and it does teach them to like work together. And sometimes my kids are like, oh, I finished mine before you. I mean, that's something else to work on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the family system is also a great system. Hopefully some of these systems will work for you. We've tried lots of them between the two of us, and these have been our favorites.
And always feel free to move from one to another.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we find a system that works, and then we are stuck with it, or we think, well, why isn't it working anymore? You really have to switch it up. I know from teaching, we would try one method, it wouldn't work, or it worked for a week, and then we'd switch it again. So it's just constant switching with them, which is exhausting. But I think that's the nice thing of living in this day and age, that there's Google, there's tons of things on Etsy that you can buy. I mean, there's so many resources out there. Use them.
Yeah.
They get bored of something, move on to the next one.
All right, ladies, go ahead and share your thoughts below. If you could relate to anything in this video, please give us a thumbs up.
And please show us some love by subscribing to our channel.